going to be getting into TNA Slammiversary 2006. Did you catch that poster? I did a research on the poster, and for some reason they had Monty Brown on it instead of Run the Truth Killings, who was in the match, who was in the King of the Mountain
match. Yeah.
So I was like, one or two things: either Monty Brown was a part of it and he had to pull out, or they just said in their mind, Run the Truth Killings and Monty Brown look the same when they're
when they don't look the same.
Our truth has dreads.
Like,
we don't all look alike, motherfucker.
Thank you. When is everybody gonna grasp that concept? Like,
we don't.
We do not all look alike.
Just oh my God!
I can't stress that enough.
Like, I don't understand it. I truly don't. What don't y'all get? We don't look alike. All right. Anyway. So we started off TNA Slammiversary with the opening package, the opening promo package, which was pretty retro to get you hyped for the King of the Mountain match, which featured 3 former NWA World Heavyweight Champions in this match, which was Jeff Jarrett,
JJ,
R-Truth, and I believe the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion, which was Christian Cage, and then you had Abyss, who was the NWA, because around this time they were still a part of NWA. It wasn't TNA World Champion, TNA Tag Team Champions. It was still NWA. The gimmick for this one is this is the one, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And I
still liked it though, even when I watched it again. I was like, I still like this match.
What did you think about the pyro for the opening, like the classic pyro setup? Like, you know how they got the 2 tunnels on both sides, one for the heels and one for the babyface. What you think about that? Like, do you think we need to see more of that? Because I know AEW does it now with the
they do.
Stage, but I don't know why, but I liked it when it was on opposite sides of the ring. Like, you had them going on 2 different.
I think that's better off that way anyway, instead of everybody just coming out the same, like,
on the same side. Like, it felt different. It felt different. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, when I saw that, I'm like, oh man, because I very rarely see or watch anything in 2006 in TNA, because I was around that time I was still watching WWE fully, so I didn't even know TNA existed at that point. So I don't know, but to start out while the pyro was going off, Team 3D and the James gang didn't even wait for the pyro to stop for some reason. They were fighting all over the place. They apparently started brawling during a pre-show when I think Mike Tenay said it on commentary. Oh, they was fighting during the pre-show. I'm like, I did not see that, but okay.
Like, so dang, should I really go back to the pre-show and watch that first before I get into it?
I don't even think it exists. I don't even think it exists. So I appreciate them for letting me know, because some commentary teams nowadays they don't even tell us. They just assume,
or they say that at the last minute after it's like,
they're like, oh yeah, this started
like I'll give it like maybe like 30 minutes in, and you just like, dang, I ain't know nothing about that. Like, I'm
like, oh, okay, thank you for telling me, Jim. So we started off with Team 3D versus the James Gang in a bingo hall brawl. Kip James and Billy Gunn still look the same. Billy Gunn / Kip James, because they're the same person. They still look alike. They still look the same, even though he's a little bit bigger. Like, he's buff as shit. Both teams were brawling all over, and Devon and BG James ended up in the LAX arena, and both men got jumped on some wrestling video game shit. I said, wait, because they were brawling in the crowd. Like, the crowd was hyped. I like, it was all over the place, and then out of nowhere, I just saw them getting jumped. I'm like, wait, did someone think this was real and actually jump people? It was just LAX. And then you had a moment where BG James thought he dapped up Konnan, and he thought he was about to get a ally, and then Konnan said, "Gotcha, bitch!" Bam, and just started. He said, "Oh, you thought? Nah, we." And BG James was like, "Yeah, we got him, Kip." And then Konnan said, "We." Bam. You We ain't no we up in here. So the brawl continued and into the crowd, and it was fan interactions with the steel chair, and then Kip came with the trash can lid. So it literally felt like a video game with this brawl. Everybody picking up chairs and stuff. Felt like ECW if you watch ECW stuff. So they picking up chairs and giving it to them. I'm like, what is going on? This crowd is nuts. I loved it though. They Brother Ray then pulled out a bra from the trash can for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed that too. I was like, wait a minute, where you get this bra from? Like, wait. First of all, how did the bra end up being in the trash can in the first place? like one girl was so mad and she just took up her bra. I was like, you know, I throw it away. Like, like how does that work?
make
yeah,
that
wardrobe malfunction. I understand that, but
like
make it make sense.
you can't. It threw me off, bro. I was like, this popped somebody in the back. This had to be a rib. Like it didn't. It confused. I was confused for like 30 seconds, and then he pulled out a cheese grater and started just going ham on Kip's like forehead. We got blood, so I was like, hey, time to turn up because I love me some blood. Devon then went for the what's up, but BG got the trash can up and caused Devon to headbutt the trash can, and then Bully Ray used a golf club to hit the man in the nuts with the trash can lid. I'm like, and if you follow me on Twitter, I actually tweet my reaction to it because I'm watching it while I tweeting. I'm like, oh, this is disrespectful.
Gresh be going in on Twitter, y'all. Like for real. Like if you ever want something to laugh at.
I don't make sense most of the time. Listen, my Twitter exists strictly to crack me up. Like if you find my tweets funny, cool. If you don't, keep it pushing. Like I promise you, you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have.
But
to
it be so accurate. That's why I be like tripping out the most. I'm like, why is this so right? Oh man, I was like, man, I can't.
Death, taxes, and Gresh tweeting random shit. Team 3D then hit up with the hit Kip with the Doomsday device, and Kip kicked out of that. Shouts out to the Road Warriors. The crowd wanted tables, and then they brought it out, and then for some reason they said we want fire. I'm like, y'all some sick bastards.
Yeah, right.
But I agree.
Yeah,
give me some fire.
Like, you know, I'm not really mad, but yeah, like when I think about it,
y'all some
savages, but I'm game. Like
hey,
I'm down.
I don't condone fire and violence, but I'm not against it either. You're gonna love the anarchy in the arena. Like I know you didn't see that match. We're gonna get to it, but you gonna enjoy.
Like I don't condone it, but I mean,
I'm not against it. Like, hey, do your thing.
Do.
Obviously, the match progressed, and then Team 3D hit the 3D through the table, and Team 3D picked up the win in a chaotic brawl. I don't know why they called it a bingo hall brawl. I guess because of the whole ECW thing, but it was all over the place. My thirst for blood was quenched within the first 15 minutes of this show, and I'm like, hey, yeah, blood. Then we go to the back with Jeff Jarrett. He cut a promo. We got a slap nuts promo with JB, Jeremy Borash, talking about Jarrett's life and career. Jeff Jarrett declared he will regain the title, and then out of nowhere, Larry Zbyszko came to tell Jeff that he was right about the new face of TNA management. It is who he thought it was, and they were making a whole big deal about being the face of TNA management. And I'm like, okay, this is a Impact gimmick, but we're on a pay-per-view. But anyway, moving on. Then we get a Team Canada versus Rhino match. It was a nice little handicap match. Scott D'Amore is the current VP of Impact. I never had the pleasure of seeing his work as a manager. He was out here talking all that trash about getting rid of Rhino, and soon as He as soon as Rhino ran out, Dil Moore just ran up the ramp like he stole somebody's check or something. And he was like, "Yeah, let me go that way." It was a typical coward heel manager and client versus the angry meathead. I pretty much tuned out of most of this match. What you think about this match?
I mean, no big deal. I was okay. I was just like, yeah, like, all right.
Obviously, the match progressed, and then Rhino gored Scott to pick up the win, and the crowd went insane on that gore. Like, they popped for it. I'm like, whoa, okay. Rhino was over as hell in Impact. Makes sense. Then we get a Samoa Joe promo. Joe is interviewed by JB, and he's asked about facing Scott Steiner for the first time. I'm like, huh, this is the first time. I never... I remember...
I noticed that, too. I was like, dang, it's the first time they go in these...
Joe was looking mad young here. Like, why did he get that I'm sexy look? Like, he was sitting there looking like, yeah, no. He's like, Scott Steiner, he has that fuse, and I'm gonna light the match.
Man, trip me out when they do this right here. That jump, I'm like, yo, like, you need some chapstick, like, just say so. Like,
hey,
it's plenty in the bag, bro.
Like, hey, I know you're a nice chicken head.
I hate when men do that.
Hey,
I hate it so much.
I'm hungry for the booty.
Like, no.
Give me the booty.
If you're gonna give me a actual conversation, first of all, stop doing that. Like, that's not gonna work. Because I'm gonna laugh at you like I'm doing now. Like, I'm like, you goofy, get out of here. Like, you don't get away from me. I can't deal. Like, I just can't.
Like, you never been in love like I've been in love. You never felt like, bro, I'm sounding like an 80s.
The whole R&B song, like.
You never been.
I would be like, yo, who hurt you? Like,
I'm like the kids say, ratio L. You fell off.
Oh no.
Ratio.
Not ratio.
L. You fell off. Yeah.
Get this man.
That's how Joe was looking, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, why are you looking sexy, bro?
Oh my goodness.
Like, wait a minute. Like, hold on. He had the nice little slick back hair. Like, he was sitting if you look at the ambiance in the room, this man was literally just sitting back, looking like the lights were dim. Like everything was low. I'm like, bro, why you looking so like who you trying to pick up? who we trying to recruit? Like,
right? Like, are you working the camera? Or you trying to go out on a date? What you trying to do?
Yo, what's going on? Like this man eyes was closed, like halfway. He like
just switching.
I'm about to whoop this. I'm about to whoop this old fuck's ass, but I'm about
to come on, bruh. This man here.
Joe, like I said, Joe flips the switch and says he's prepared for the Steiner short fuse, and he'll be standing in the ring lighting the fuse. So it was like a nice little promo from Joe, but I just couldn't get past him like doing a sexy look, bro. Like, then we got some X Division match up next. X Division ranking match. Number one contender for the X Division championship is Senshi, formerly known as Low Key, versus Shark Boy versus Petey Williams versus Jay Lethal versus Alex Shelley versus Sanjay Dutt. In I guess it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a 6-pack, but I know when I was when I was watching the entrances, I know I take shots at the current WWE themes, like they all sound the same and they're pretty much ass cheeks outside of a select few. But these songs that they came out to were generic as hell. I'm like, what is this music? I was trying to figure out what this music was. They explained the rules to this in the beginning, and I forgot. But as the match went on, it was an elimination tag team match, but not a tag team match. It was like the only way they had to tag in and out. I don't know. It was maybe you understood it, but I didn't. So, but it was a nice sequence of like, I'm not finna give you a play by play of everything that went down in this match because I was literally focused on this match. But Senshi and Lethal's chops sound like gunshots. I ain't gonna lie. When they was chopping, because for some reason Senshi or Low Key, he was out to kill people. he was just
Yeah,
smacking people. I'm like,
yeah.
sir, like, why you? I was literally getting this
I'm
man
like,
to
I
look like,
believe it. It do
why
hurt.
are you so angry? like,
I
like,
do. I was like, I believe it did. That looked like it hurt.
as the match went on, Sanjay Dutt was so smooth at this point. It was actually insane. Like his execution, like for people who know, I'm actually studying, so it's like when I'm studying people's like style of wrestling, he was so smooth in his transitions and his executions that it was actually insane at this point. I'm surprised they didn't do more with him. I mean, they did a little bit with him, but they didn't do a lot with him after this. Sanjay tried to do the sprinkler on the top rope, like he was doing the catwalk, like the Undertaker's old school. He got hung up,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got a rope burn on in the balls. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you deserve that
Come
shit.
on, man.
You asked for that.
I was like,
Uh, oh yeah, I get it. I was like, oh, the disrespect, the disrespect.
like,
Alex Shelley was eliminated after a German suplex from Lethal. That German suplex was brutal. And then obviously at this point the Canadian Destroyer was actually built up to actually be legit. So a Canadian Destroyer on Jay Lethal. He was eliminated before it became a transitional move, like I said, because it seems like everybody does a Destroyer now as a transition move and not a finish. Sorry, Petey. Uh, Petey then went for an avalanche destroyer, but was stopped. And then Sanjay connected with a sliced bread. And then Senshi connected with the Warriors Way double stomp to eliminate Williams. I like that entire sequence. That's why I wrote it down. If I didn't write it down, sorry. I know we talk a lot. I'll talk about who's the best commentary duo of all time. But when I was paying attention to this match, Mike Tenay and Don West
mm-hmm.
deserve to be in the top 5 in my book, at least a top 5, because it seemed like it's like they didn't mumble, they didn't stumble, they didn't
Yeah, like
make
they actually went like, I was like, I like them.
they didn't make the commentary about them. They was just like boom boom boom,
Mm-hmm.
let's just sell this,
Mm-hmm.
let's keep it going. uh so I will put Don West and Mike Tenay in my, at
Yeah,
least in
I
my
actually
top
like
10.
them. They did a pretty
So
good job. Like they were great.
since she hit a sick Warriors way from the tree or woe position to pick up the win on Sanjay Dutt and become the number 1 contender for the X Division title. So at some point, we got a Samoa Joe versus Senshi match because he's the X Division champion at this point. Like I said, this match was fun to see. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's actually on YouTube. So if you follow us on Patreon, I actually post what the retro review is going to be, and it's public, so you don't have, it's not behind a paywall, so it's public, so you guys can watch it along with us, so you can know and join in on the fun whenever we review it live on the podcast for the month of TNA month. Next up, we get a Kevin Nash and Alex Shelley promo. JB is with Nash and Shelley. Nash is doing the X Division challenge. When I was watching this, I was like, didn't they do this shit before? But then it was 5 years later with Abyss. So it seems like when they don't have nothing for the big man to do, they'll just throw the big guys to bully the X Division for a bit. Because it seems like that was like a recurring thing. I think they did it with Abyss, and I believe they did it with Team 3D at one point. So it seems like it's a recurring thing where it's like they don't have nothing for the big man to do. So it's like, hey, let's go bully the smaller guys.
Mm.
And then that led into the X Division challenge. It was a typical big man versus little man match. It was Chris Saban versus Kevin Nash. I actually enjoyed this one too. Like it was 2 back-to-back matches that I personally enjoyed because it's like I don't mind my typical David versus Goliath match if it makes sense. Like if it's
Mm-hmm.
just something thrown together, I don't care. But if it's something like if it makes sense, hey,
Yeah,
let's
I'll
go.
watch it. I'm down.
Saban brought it to Nash right out of the gate, and that as Nash was reeling on the outside, he called for Alex Shelley, so it basically became into an unofficial handicap match. Like as the match progressed, Nash was actually bumping for Shelley, but it became a opposite of a squash match as I was expecting, and became a handicap match. And did you catch the referee's attire at this point? What the hell was they wearing? I was trying to figure out. I'm like, what? Who chose this?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. So that's what you gonna wear? Oh, okay. Like I
Like it was distracted for a bit because I was like, What is this?
I'm like,
What
wait a
is
minute. Like,
what?
what is that?
Damn.
Well,
Like,
we can wear that now.
like oof. But obviously the match was it was too much to bear for Chris Saban. Kevin Nash hit the jackknife powerbomb to pick up the win. Like I said, this was a solid match, and this was before Motor City Machine Guns was a thing. So if you were a fan of Motor City Machine Guns, this is kind of deja. If you've never seen this before, this kind of deja vu because I'm used to them teaming up. I never saw them opposed. Next up, we get an AMW. America's Most Wanted is backstage with Gail Kim talking to JB. The NWA World's Tag Team titles are on the line against AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. And as this match progressed, I remember that this is the match that they use in highlight packages for years to come. And I didn't know it until I saw the celebration. Gail Kim apparently is a problem for them, and she don't know why, but she can see why she's a distraction. And I ain't gonna lie to you, yeah, she was looking good here. I'm like, I don't mind me some Asians. Like I'm all for my black queens, but hey man, if you're a good looking Asian, hey, I'm looking respectfully.
Lord.
next
Oh
up,
man.
next up, we get America Most Wanted defends the NWA World's Tag Team Championships against AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. It's an 8-month title reign, the longest at that point. This was a last chance for Daniels and Styles because I believe that they've faced them 2 other times, and then they always cheated to win in some way, shape, or form. Oh. During the match, it was Happy Father's Day to Wildcat Chris Harris's dad. So this was actually on Father's Day, and I was like, okay, Chris Harris was a dick, but it was fun. I know Randy Orton's drop kick is talked about being the best, but AJ Styles might give him a run for his money. His drop kick is beautiful and crisp. I ain't gonna lie to you. There was a moment where Daniels hit back-to-back drop toe holds on both Harris and Storm, and it made them 69 each other. And Daniels stomped Storm's face into Harris's ball, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
when they did the 69, I did utter a pause for a minute. I was like, pause. Hold on. I just had to hit a pause. That's like it happens. AMW was working AJ for a minute until AJ finally connected with some knees, and Styles hit a beautiful Pele kick from the top, and Daniels then came in for the hot tag, and it was like I'm saying, like I was literally paying attention to this match. Like I'll say it at the end, but this was a masterclass for tag team wrestling. If you're a fan of tag team wrestling, and it's like if you're studying tag team wrestling, this is one of those matches I feel like a lot of people should look back on if they haven't already.
And if it's not talked about enough, that's a problem.
It's the fun thing is it isn't talked about. I don't hear a lot of people talk.
It's not giving a lot of credit. Like,
I feel like it's the reason why it's not talked about a lot is because it's a lot of tag team matches that great tag team matches that has happened since. That is kind of hard to. It's easy for it to get forgotten about. But if you look back at AMW versus Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles, especially at the pay-per-view, they went insane.
mm-hmm.
Harris went for a bulldog on Daniels, but he reversed into like a blue thunder bomb. But he couldn't get the pin because Gail Kim was being a distraction until AJ pushed her off the top rope, and some random woman came in and took care of her. Commentary was confused. I was confused. The crowd was confused as well. Matter of fact,
Everybody was confused. Mm-hmm.
I need to look up who this woman was because I still don't know who this woman was. What was this? TNA. We're gonna review. We're gonna research live on the podcast because I'm genuinely curious who that woman was. Like
everybody was confused with that.
Like I'm genuinely confused. Like who was the woman? Like TNA woman mystery. Let me put mystery woman. Let me see. It don't say who that woman was, but if somebody know who that woman was, let me know at some point because I don't know if it was what was that lady name who was with Sable in the Attitude Era. I was thinking it was I forgot who it was. It hold on, let me see. Sable and Nicole Bass. Let me see if it was Nicole. Let me see if it was Nicole Bass. Was she in TNA? Did she? No, I don't think it was her. Nope, no, it wasn't her. So
No.
it was some random woman. I don't know who it is. What's up? What's up, JNC Gaming? What's up with you? Appreciate you for
Hey
stopping
y'all.
with us live. I don't know who that was. I'm genuinely I'm genuinely curious. um, but anyway, AJ as the match progressed, AJ hit a massive, phenomenal form. I don't know what it is about that camera angle. It's like a low camera angle where it looked like this man jumped literally halfway across the ring. I know he hits phenomenal forearms now, but that shit was insane.
Yeah, crazy. AJ Styles has, oh god, like, to me his kicks are just like it, like, in a way you look and you be like, oh my god, like I really do like enjoy like just seeing him like do it like alone, just like how Shawn Michaels, like when he did his kicks, it's like yes, like it's beautiful. Like yes, please. You
Oh
got
yeah,
any more moves that crisp? Like I know you do. Like
AJ was. I think Styles is great now, but I feel like he was in peak form here. Like he was everything was crisp. He was hitting the spiral taps. He was hitting freaking like 450s with ease. Like I feel like WWE should have hired him earlier, but at the same time, they didn't miss the ball too much with hiring him now. So I ain't too mad at it. Harris hit Styles with handcuffs around his fist, but Daniels pulled the referee out to stop the pin at 2. Daniels hit a DVD on Harris and Styles a standing somersault for 2. So they was acting like a legit tag team. At one point, I thought they was like a makeshift tag team, but they was literally hitting moves left and right. I enjoy this team. Daniels hit Storm with a low blow with the referee distracted, but then Harris took out the referee. So it was just a whole bunch of stuff that I ain't have time to process at this point. Storm went for a beer bottle shot on Daniels, but he accidentally hit his partner instead. Daniels hit a Uranagi, and then Styles hit a frog splash, followed up by the BME, the best moonsault ever, to crown new tag team champions. The crowd went insane with that pin, borderline mosh pit. And like this is what I was talking about earlier, when like the footage that they use for years to come. Not Styles, Daniels, when he was celebrating after his pin, where he was just with his arms up in the air, that was literally on a lot of promo packages that I saw in 2010, because that was a beautiful shot. But like I said, this was a masterclass for tag team wrestling. If you haven't checked this tag team match out, AMW versus AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, you got to check it out at least once or twice. I might actually go watch it back, like, because that's how good it was. Next up, we get JB interviewing Sting about tonight's main event. Sting cut a 1980s promo, and my first thought was, why are you yelling? I'm like, why are you yelling, dog? Like, I'm right here. What are you yelling for? What's the reason? What was the
people to feel it?
What was the reason?
Trying to get people to feel it.
I was feeling it though. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm like, dog, come on now. Why are you yelling? The Stinger says he can multitask and says a bunch of stuff to Christian Cage and wraps it up with "It's showtime." I'm like, that was a typical Sting promo. Then we get a look back at the history of TNA. They did a lot of good stuff in the first 4 years of their company, if you ask me. And then we saw a shot of Hulk Hogan. What if we got Hulk Hogan in TNA before 2010? That shit would have sucked. that shit would have been ass cheeks. That shit would have been booty butt
Like
cheeks,
what?
booty
What
butt
say?
cheeks. That would have
Like
been
what?
that would have been ass. Hulk Hogan in 2010 would have been detrimental to my sanity if I had to watch back that. Like, no, he was in the perfect time, because TNA or Impact has pretty much hitting 2010 to 2013 TNA from the record books, because they're like, that shit was trash. We get it, but I'm trying to tell you, if Hulk Hogan was in TNA in 2004, it would have been.
Oh, booty butt, booty butt, booty butt cheeks, booty butt, booty butt, booty butt cheeks.
Had to throw the Boondocks reference in there for sure.
Booty butt cheeks.
Goodness.
It would have been that terrible. It would have been detrimental to my But moving on, we get who is the new face of TNA management? The new face is Jim Cornette. And my first thought was, oh brother, this is going to be. That's all I can say. I was like, when I saw him, I was like, my whole face just dropped. I'm like, okay. This is the era of Jim Cornette in charge of TNA. Okay. He basically cut a TNA is the new face of professional wrestling promo. He's tired of looking at the old. It's like when he was like, he's tired of looking at the old face of wrestling, and I'm like, is this AEW? Cause don't they say that same shit? Was it a lively promo? Yeah, sure. Did I care? Hell no. I didn't. I was like, I'll watch it, see if I get any like audio bits, but I didn't care. It's a new day in TNA.
I'm like, come on, guy. Just say TNA. You ain't gotta say it like that.
TNA.
Oh,
TNA.
That's gonna be a ringtone. Like,
probably
if it ain't already.
I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna snip it and send it to me. JB interviews Scott Steiner next. Don't you call that half-breed Samoa Joe? You call that fat bastard Sloppy Joe. I'm like, Scott. This is a Scott Steiner promo. This is a typical Scott Steiner promo. He mentioned Triple H, Goldberg, John Cena, etc. He's like, I beat all these guys. I'm like, Scott, you didn't beat Triple H. You lost.
Right, you lost. Let's not forget.
So basically, Scott Steiner hates Samoa Joe for being a half breed and for being fat, while Joe just doesn't give a shit about Scott Steiner in general. That's literally the premise of this match. They don't care.
No,
Next up, Samoa Joe is undefeated still at this point, and Steiner was rightfully a heel in this one. He was not miscast like they did in WWE, where he was a babyface when his gimmick is literally a dick. So he should never be a babyface with this version of himself. Steiner and Joe was doing some amateur wrestling with Steiner getting the advantage until Joe spit in Steiner's face and all hell broke loose. He was like, "Oh, well, you gonna spit in my face? Well, let's." It got personal. As the match progressed, Steiner showed off his strength. He powerbombed Joe, and when he went for the pin, Joe instantly locked in a triangle choke. And I'm like, "Yo, this is actually a house fight." I don't mind this. I was expecting it to be sloppy. I was like,
mind this.
I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be sloppy. But then I was like, oh, okay. They're going for an actual house fight. Let's do it. Steiner caught Joe with a interesting looking sit down uranagi in the corner. And then Steiner just slapped the shit. Like as the brawl went to the outside, Steiner went for a chair and he slapped the shit out of a fan off camera. Like everybody was like, "Oh!" So I already know he slapped the shit out of him. After Steiner cracked Joe with a shot to the skull, he got back in the ring at the count of 9. So I'm guessing the ref during the premise of the match, he was like, "Okay, I'm not going to DQ you. I'm just going to count you out."
Try to count you out.
But Joe hit the babyface thing and actually rolled in. Both men exchanged blows before Joe caught Steiner in the clutch, but Steiner gets out of it with a backwards kick, low blow, basically. Steiner connected with a half and half Nelson and Joe actually landed on the top of his head. And then I'm like, sir, you taking liberties at this point. This man is literally about to break his neck at this point. But then he locked in the Steiner recliner until Joe fought out of it. Joe connected with a big snap suplex to pin Steiner and picked up the win. Like I said, I really enjoyed this match. Like, it was a house fight. I enjoy my fair share of big meaty men smacking meat. So next up we get the main event.
I enjoy blood. They're like, it's blood.
I
Like,
love it.
yes, give me a fight. Don't kill each other. I don't do well. But blood, I don't mind it.
Next up, we get the main event of the evening. It's the King of the Mountain match. Christian Cage versus Sting versus Jeff Jarrett versus Abyss versus Run the Truth Killings. So the rules of this match is basically you're not eligible until you to raise the belt unless you get the pin or submission. And if you're the one pin or submitted, you have to go into the penalty box, or the winner of the match is the one who hangs the title belt. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense, but okay. Jeff Jarrett doesn't want Cornette in charge, and if he loses, then he's not getting another title shot. Truth actually had the "What's Up" thing in TNA too. I didn't even think about that. I'm like, oh, so this is an old ass song.
Yeah.
People over there, what's up?
Yeah.
At this point, Abyss has never.
So there's that.
Hey man. At this point, Abyss has never been NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He's looking to do that. Christian Cage made his entrance, and he was on the ladder on the outside. And I was sitting here pandering. I'm like, it would be a shame if someone walked over and pushed him off of it. I was
Random thoughts like this. Look, this would happen.
I'm like, what if this would have happened? Like, what if he would have what if someone just walked over to say yoink and just pushed him off the ladder? Like, that would be fucked. The match was basically it was a typical main event. Like, I don't have any like extensive matches. Like, if you want to check it out, you can. It was a King of the Mountain match, if you understand that. Jarrett was the first one pinned, and now he must spend 2 minutes in the penalty box. Abyss got pinned by Christian and had to spend 2 minutes as well. At this point, Christian Cage and Truth are the only eligibles to hang the belt. Abyss and Jeff Jarrett at one point were teaming up on Sting and Truth. Jarrett hit the stroke on Truth actually from the apron to the barricade and to get the pin. And now Truth had to spend 2 minutes in the penalty box as well. Only 3 men were qualified to hang the belt at that point. While everyone was brawling all over the place, Truth let his black card show out. He was like, "While y'all do that stupid shit, I'm going to go handle my business." So he's like, "I'm going to go hang the belt, and I'm going to let y'all fight." But obviously, he took too long and was pushed off by Abyss. Christian had Jarrett stuck in between the ladder upside down and tried to climb the ladder to hang the belt until Abyss stopped that from happening. The way Truth and everybody was climbing this ladder annoyed the hell out of me because it was going so slow. I'm like, bro.
So yes, I hate that. And it's
they
like,
still do it to this day.
I still hate it. Still do it. Yeah, that's what I was like. I still hate it. Like when some money in the bank, see, I be like, yo. Or any ladder
climb
match for that matter.
Can y'all please climb? Just fucking climb.
Like, come on.
Y'all making it obvious that you're not winning because you're taking too long. Come on now.
Exactly. Like, man, it's the slowness for me. I'm about to cut y'all off. Like,
so basically, Abyss pushed Truth off the ladder, and then he flinged it back and gave Earl Hebner his customary ref bump. He needed to take a nap at this point. The second referee, Slick Johnson, came out to count the pin for Abyss. Abyss went to climb the ladder, but Sting pushed it over and caused Abyss to crash and burn through the stacked tables on the outside. So got my customary table bump. So I'm like, hey, I'll take it. Sting had the Scorpion Death locked in on Christian until Jeff Jarrett came out the penalty box early. I'm guessing Larry Zbyszko let him out and went on the attack, and then Jeff went for the guitar shot, but until Christian stopped it, and then Sting locked in the Scorpion on Jeff and gave Christian the title to climb. And he did until Larry Zbyszko came in and low blow Christian to stop him. For those who don't know what Larry Zbyszko's role is, he's on the championship committee at this point. So I'm guessing he's siding with Jeff Jarrett. But obviously, Sting took care of him, and Jeff went for the stroke, but Sting reversed it into the death drop. Sting took Earl's hand and counted the pin for himself, and then Sting climbed the ladder to hang the championship until Christian Cage came in and stopped him before Earl Hebner surprisingly said, "I'm alive," and pushed the ladder, and Jeff Jarrett climbed the ladder and won the match. It was basically another screw job finish. The crowd threw trash, and when Jarrett was
bottles and
glasses, I guess they was pissed.
Bottles, they threw all kind of stuff. Whoa, like, yeah.
I'm like,
that's a good old fashioned 10. Like,
Jarrett was celebrating on the ramp, and then referee Rudy Charles came and snatched the belt from Jeff and gave it to Jim Cornette. Who's the champ? Was the question to end the show, and I'm like, that was quite the way to end the show. I mean, am I going to search out the fallout from this episode? Probably not, but it was like a title. Like overall, the show wasn't bad. I'm more of a shenanigans type of viewer now. So if the brawl in the beginning with Team 3D and the James gang, the two matches between Samoa Joe and Scott Steiner, the X Division champion, the X Division challenge, and then the X Division 6-pack. Those are my two favorite. Other than that, everything else was pretty much ass. But now, and also the tag team match. So it's like it was more pros than cons in this. But the ending was like, okay, whatever. And that was your TNA Slammiversary.